Hi! We're all having fun here
Yeah?
in the Golden Land.
Yeah.
A dreary breeze blew. I can't even. How does English work?
It's unclear.
So, I think you get these letters together and they indicate certain sounds and stuff, and then I have to make those sounds with my mouth. That seems hard. Can we do anything else? A dreary breeze blew through the Golden Rose Garden. Shannon and Kanon had already finished walking 19 steps, their backs still facing each other. When the demons conducting the trial gave the signal, they would both turn and settle this. Each had one of the dueling pistols given by the demons in their hands. The bullets promised certain death no matter where on the body they hit. This duel would not end until one of them died. George and Jessica just quietly watched the ones they loved. They had already entrusted all of their thoughts to them as well as their fates. Just watching over their partners was now the only way they could show their trust. Shannon and Kanon stood quietly with their backs turned. They had already set aside the feelings they'd built up during all those days they'd known each other. The next time they laid eyes on the other, nothing would be asked of them except pulling that trigger. The only one who still couldn't muster any determination or resolve towards this duel was Beato. The closer that moment came, the less she understood. The love between George and Shannon wasn't standing in the way of the love between Jessica and Kanon, or vice versa. Why, when both sides could just find happiness, were they being forced to kill each other?
I don't understand. I just can't understand. Little sister, we are not permitted to do anything but watch. Zepar-san, Furfur-san, why this duel? This is no trial of love. You really are demons. You just want to enjoy watching one of the pairs fall apart, don't you? Silence! You'll get in the way of the lovers. You're the ones getting in their way. One will fall. The one who loves that person will grieve. If only you two weren't around, no one would be sad. That is not true. If we hadn't set up this duel, then both pairs would have fallen apart. This duel is necessary. I haven't been able to accept that since the beginning. You say their love can't be successful without a miracle of magic? What does love need other than two people who love each other? This duel is meaningless. So stop it, you two. Shannon and Kanon both. Why must you fight each other to the death when you were once as close as true siblings? I just can't understand.
Everyone should have been able to hear Beato's yell. However, no one's expression changed.
That's right. I'm impressed that you noticed. This is love's truth. Oh, what is? Normally, love needs nothing more than two people who love each other. Therefore, when there aren't two people, we must use a duel to make that number become two.
You are fucking... Yeah. They've been building up to it this entire time, and you are absolutely right. I can't believe that you were right about that. Holy shit.
I could understand it if it were a duel between two people fighting over one woman. If it were a duel to cut three people in love down to two. But here we have two pairs of people. The world formed by each pair is complete, isn't it? There's nothing compelling them to fight. The minimum number of people that can create a world is two. A world can only be born, love can only be fulfilled when two people gather. That's why this duel is necessary. So that they can get up to that number of people. Are you saying that furniture is subhuman, so they don't count as a single person?
Exactly.
Furniture is subhuman. That's why furniture and a human cannot add up to two people. That's insane. Status has nothing to do with it if both of them love each other. No, it does. Do you really think that the status of a pair of lovers doesn't matter? Is a man who has a wife allowed to love someone else? Is a woman who has a husband allowed to love someone else? Are you allowed to fall in love with your parents? Are you allowed to fall in love with your children? There are many situations where status makes love unallowable. Then, just what is furniture? Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Because their soul is less than a single person. Shannon, Kanon, and of course the piece that you are. All of you are furniture. Subhuman beings who possess less than a single person's soul. To be qualified to love a human, you need only one thing, the possession of a single person's soul. That's why a pair in love can create a world. For example, do you think a man with a wife has the right to love another woman? Of course not. If he loved two women, neither would get a full person's worth of love. A man such as that would be unworthy of love.
I'm just going to come out right and say that we here at APR do support polyamory. Not going to hold it against it. Whatever.
See, there are plenty of statuses in humans who have no right to love a person. As long as both people feel love, nothing else matters? That's just the hypocrisy of naive love. We cannot forgive humans who falsely pretend that they have the right to love. We cannot forgive the love of subhuman beings, of those who don't make up the minimum number of people required to create a world. That is the purpose of our trial. It is to let the sinful souls regain a complete soul and become capable of true love. Zepar-sama, Furfur-sama.
Our hearts are ready. Please give the signal to start the duel. Before we start that duel, this piece right here, this beginning to this piece of music right here, always sounds like a piece of music from like Nier Automata to me.
Oh yeah?
And then the rest of it kicks in, I'm like, oh, okay, no, never mind, it's not. But like from the very beginning, it sounds like it will be. The pair, bidding farewell, quietly asked for the signal to be given. Zepar nodded silently and then walked to a place that could be seen by both of them. Furfur spoke in a quiet voice, quiet enough to avoid distracting the two duelists.
Watch the duel to see which of the lovers will fall apart? No, this isn't a duel to see who falls apart. This is a duel to make true love succeed. I don't understand what you two are saying. No, you must understand. This marks the birth of a human who can truly love another. I don't understand. No matter which wins, please support them. Right now, their days as furniture will end. The signal is simple. I will count to 3. When I reach 3, the duel will commence.
Okay, just to be clarified though, are you going to say 1, 2, 3, go? Or are you going to be like 1, 2, 3, and then we can turn on 3?
No promises after I reach 3.
What does that mean? You can't just...
I could say anything.
Okay. Understood.
Same here. If both miss, the duel will be temporarily suspended. You'll be given bullets again, and we'll start over from the beginning with your backs to each other.
Since they went out of their way to explain how that works twice, I can only assume that they're going to miss the first time because Beato's going to intervene.
I guess it'll repeat till it's all settled. Zepar, have you seen this sort of duel many times in the past? Of course, I've seen many of them. Usually, how many times do they need to face off before it's over? In almost all cases, it's decided in the first round. They must all be really good shots. That's not it. If one side misses, the other can corner them at their leisure and shoot. If the first bullet misses, then you've lost your chance at victory.
However, if you take too long, you'll lose before you can even pull the trigger.
If you're going to lose anyway, you'd at least want to have pulled the trigger first. Your resolve is good, you two.
Could you, like, how are we this close to each other? I thought we were like 38 paces apart from one another.
Perspective tricks.
How does that perspective trick work?
Then let's go.
I don't want to die without knowing this.
Too bad.
Really wish I had a steady arm right now. Oh shit, this doesn't have iron sights on it. Is it too late to... Oh!
One. Two. Three.
In the Golden Rose Garden, where the number 3 was yelled, the sound of gunfire rang out once. Even the people watching couldn't tell whether that was a single gun firing or the sound of both going off at the same time. In the midst of the stench of gunpowder and white smoke, there, with gun raised and smoke trailing the barrel, was Kanon. And lying on the earth was Shannon.
Shannon-san. No. Shannon fell before the gun fired.
Jessica's distressed expression was enough to explain what had happened. Slowly, Shannon stood up. There was no bullet wound anywhere on her body. At the time of the signal, Shannon had thrown herself to the ground, dodging the bullet. It had been a bet. If Kanon had turned around and taken the time to aim carefully before shooting, then he would have shot her as she lay there. However, if Kanon had shot as soon as he turned around, she would be able to dodge it. Kanon had also made a bet. He did not underestimate Shannon's skill with a firearm. He was fully aware that if he assumed Shannon would be timid enough to let him shoot first, he would lose even before pulling the trigger. So he decided to shoot right away, and he had predicted that when he shot, Shannon would reflexively pull the trigger too. Since he intended to shoot right away, he would be more mentally prepared, so he was confident that he'd be able to shoot accurately. Kanon had cautiously turned around, and Shannon had shot instantly with the strength of her will, then Kanon wouldn't have been even been able to pull the trigger. So, no impatience on Kanon's part was to blame here. The two had simply given it their all, left their fates to the heavens, and reached this result. I didn't imagine that my quick-tempered Nesan wouldn't shoot at all.
I'm surprised too, to think that old, prudent Kanon-kun would shoot as soon as he turned.
As Shannon quietly pointed the barrel at him, she slowly walked forward. She planned on cautiously closing the gap until she reached a distance from which she could hit with even more certain accuracy. And Kanon had already lost any means of fighting back. He could only try to dodge Shannon's bullets and place his bet on the second round. If they both thought this, then what happened next would turn into that assumption on its head. This isn't over yet! Kanon dashed forward like a tornado, bent over so low that he was almost crawling over his shadow. This duel could only be settled by a bullet, but he wasn't the only one that had a bullet. If he could steal Shannon's gun away from her, he could turn this fight around. And if Shannon calmly shot through Kanon, it would end. The odds that Shannon would miss or that he could get close enough to her before she fired, Kanon would bet all the chips he had on them. Shannon could draw Kanon in until the last second and then shoot him from a closer distance. If she pulled the trigger just before he reached her, even if she missed, they would just start again from the beginning. Shannon kept her gun pointing at Kanon's forehead as she compared these options until the final moment. She led her shot, calculating the distance he had already moved and the time it would take to pull the trigger. The Goddess of Fortune smiles impartially.
No!
Surviving past the final moment Shannon could have shot, Kanon barreled into her chest. He then swung his hand up and knocked the gun Shannon held into the air. That strike sent Shannon's gun flying into the sky. At the same time, Kanon's gun also flew from his hand and danced through the air. The two guns danced a rondo through the sky, reached their peak, and began to fall. By that time, neither knew whose gun was which. The two guns were exactly the same. Everything about them was identical. There was no way to tell them apart. However, there was one difference. Only one of them had a bullet inside. The pair raised their hands to the sky, trying to grasp their fate, their miracle. It was as though they were trying to grasp the wings of descending angel of miracles. The pair looked up at the brilliant sky and entrusted everything to to the goddess of fortune. Then, they each grabbed one of the guns out of the air. After dancing a momentary rondo, their arms crossed each other. I saw this in the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, I was thinking like Equilibrium?
Oh, that's a good one too. Actually, have we watched that yet?
No,
We
it
should sit
hasn't
down
come
and watch
out
that
yet.
together sometime. That seems like it would be a good film. Even that had been like a dance. Then they pressed the barrel up of their gun. Then they each pressed the barrel of their gun up against the other's forehead, both as steady as a rock. Even they could not know which gun held the bullet. When they both pressed the triggers, one would die and one would remain alive. The match would end. George and Jessica wouldn't know the result until that moment came. However, was it really impossible for the two holding the guns to know? The muzzle of Kanon's gun, which had already been fired, must have been warm. And the muzzle of the other gun, which Shannon hadn't fired, should have been ice cold. Perhaps the pair of them did realize which gun was which. And yet both expressions were solemn. The faces of those who would believe in their fate unswervingly until the moment the triggers were pulled. Shit, I should have said dodge this. That would have been better.
Bringing back the Matrix meme. Oh my god. Don't be sad.
I figured it was appropriate since it seems like I'm about to die.
We'll meet again soon in the Golden Land.
We should have done this much sooner.
If only we had, our reunion could have been avoided entirely.
It's all right, considering what day this is. Even this duel is just a farce.
You're right. If we're just going to revive in the Golden Land anyway, it really is just a farce.
Then I'll see you later.
Yeah, you too.
So long. Just as long as it's not in Detroit.
Kanon-kun!
Hey, what's going on? Hang in there. Suddenly, Kanon fell to the floor as if he had an attack of anemia. It had happened without any warning beforehand, so everyone rushed up to him in alarm. What they saw surprised them. There was a single strand of blood across his forehead, making it look as though it had cracked open.
Oh? Oh?
Nah, what happened? What's going on? Trying to get a look at the wound, Goda wiped Kanon's forehead with a handkerchief. However, his forehead was perfectly smooth without any trace of a wound, and yet blood was pouring out, almost as though it was seeping through his skin.
What are you doing? Stop the bleeding already!
Oh, but even though there's no wound, the blood won't stop coming.
Hang in there, Kanon-kun. Kanon-kun. Yoshia-kun.
Kanon's forehead was pale, and though his eyes were open, they had lost the light of the living. Just like a puppet whose strings had been cut, he had passed away.
Yoshia-kun. Yoshia-kun. So long, Kanon-kun, and thank you.
Jessica dashed up to Kanon's corpse, held it, pressed her forehead against his, and as the still hot blood was smeared over her forehead as well, she sobbed.
Shannon. George-san, we've won. Now I finally have the right to love you.
Shannon leaned against George's chest as though the strings holding her up had been cut. George held her in silence.
Yoshia-kun. Yoshia-kun.
There was nothing in the golden rose garden except the wind that carried golden flower petals and the sound of Jessica's grieving sobs.
Is your trial for us finished now? It is! Congratulations! You two were the ones who remained. We will give you our blessing. But please don't forget, you are now responsible for nurturing your love. Please take good care of the seed of love that this miracle has created. Of course, I swear it to her and you two. And now, let Shannon have the miracle of magic. Now, your soul will become human. You'll become a single person. Are you...
Even in his dying moments, Kanon couldn't resist the urge. Gather,
Incomplete souls,
become one and know love. When Zephyr and Furfur faced the heavens and yelled, the miracle of love gathered the souls around Shannon. Oh, thought it froze for a moment there. They came from the losers of the trial, from Kanon, who had been defeated, and from Beato, who had dropped out. Slowly, the bodies of the two began to break down into flecks of gold dust.
What's going on here? No one ever said that the losers would disappear.
As she yelled, Beato the Elder supported the body of her fading little sister. However, the two demons were smiling quietly.
Kanon has disappeared because he died. Beato was born to love Battler and is disappearing because she has lost the qualifications to do that. It is quite fair. If you had survived, the other two would have vanished. Hang in there, little sister. Hang in there.
Which also would seem to work with the idea that they are the ones playing Beato.
Yep. Were you going to solve Battler's closed room and save him? What are you doing getting finished off in a place like this? You call yourself a part of our complete form? Why was I born? For the purpose of loving Battler-san? Why do I love Battler-san? The truth is, I don't know why I started to love him. What? Why are you saying this now? After all, when I was born, I was told to love Battler-san and be loved by him. That was my purpose. So, I don't really know why I love him. People don't need a reason to love each other. Don't disappear. If you disappear, who will save Battler? Little sister, Beato. Beatrice. Why is it that I love Battler-san? Mother?
Hey!
Well... Oh.
Well, I'm actually not a big fan of the family-oriented type of girl. You see how crude I am, right? I just can't handle acting politely in front of girls, lady first and all that stuff. So if I had to say what type I liked, well, I'd probably like a Jessica-ish girl. I'm crude, why shouldn't she be too? Probably be just perfect to have a rough, relaxed relationship where we can mess around without worrying about gender and be rude about with no worries. So if I ever get a girlfriend, I hope it's someone I can joke around with all the time. What would she look like? Can't say I care much either way. She did happen to be a glamorous woman, blonde and bouncy with blue eyes like Western films. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to rub those boobs.
Beatrice.
Is that what they said to each other 6 years ago? Is
Oh
that
my God.
it? Is that the fucking reason?
Listen. I am giving you my love for Ushiromiya Battler. Become the kind of woman Battler wants. Take the golden hair he likes. Take the blue eyes he likes. Take this personality that matches his. And then you must love him in my place. And then, if possible, you must be loved by him. I can no longer love him. Please, take my feelings that went unfulfilled, my feelings that I couldn't hold back, and make my wish come true. From this day forward, you are no longer the Rokkenjima ghost that lives only to play pranks. From this day forward, you will become the master of this island, and wait for the day that he comes to fulfill his promise. From this day forward, you will do this in my place. So, from this day forward, you will no longer be me. Please forgive me for pushing all of my worries onto you, while I alone try to find happiness. From this day forward, you have the right to hate everything. From this day forward, you are the Golden Witch, Beatrice, and one day, you will destroy everything, revive everything. You will bring blessings to all lovers. When that happens, I pray that you and I will both succeed in finding happiness. From this day forward, you will no longer be me. From this day forward, I will no longer be you. The two of us will split apart a single soul and share it, and though, of course, neither of us will possess a complete soul, I'm sure our dreams will be more numerous than those of humans. Let us be blessed, my dear Beatrice. No one will be able to see your form, however, I alone can see you, and if you are loved by many people, I'm sure that everyone will be able to see you someday. With love, they will be able to see us. Yoshia-kun.
Are we dreaming? Insane. What kind of joke is this? Well, get Dr. Najo. Call Dr. Najo here. Goda, that is enough. Genji, who had been calm and silent through the whole thing, finally spoke, and his were the most reasonable words spoken. If they called Najo here, then what? Not only was there no arm to take the pulse of, there wasn't even a forehead to feel for the heat of. Like leftover snow on a spring day, Kanon's form had been, by now, not even a trace remained. His form had sparkled with a spray of gold, vanishing completely.
Where did he go? Where's Yoshia-kun? Yoshia-kun. Yoshia-kun.
So long, gay Bowser. Oh, I've always wanted to say that. No, Jessica. Probably still gay, though.
Kanon-san.
By now, no one's eyes can see us. That means that we're no longer in their world. However, we are right here.
You're right. We are here.
For us, a body is nothing more than a cage made of flesh. There's no need to be sad.
But I do feel sad for her. For Jessica-san.
This is all my sin. This is why furniture is not supposed to love.
What will you do now?
Though I have lost my form, though I can no longer talk to her. And even though if Jessica ever talks to me, I can do nothing except nod behind her back. I will be by her side.
I think that's wonderful.
What will you do?
I want to save Battler-san from a closed room.
Oh, closed room. After looking a bit taken aback, Kanon laughed gently. Beto, who hadn't expected to be laughed at, looked a little sour.
Why are you laughing? This is very important to me.
But it's a closed room. That's something for humans with bodies to worry about, right?
Huh? Ah.
We've already been released from our cage of flesh. How could a closed room hinder us?
Are you sure about that? I mean, there's a chain lock and packing tape seals and red truth.
Oh, I see. So you want a being from the world of pieces, but a higher level world. That means your limitations are different from ours, or so I hear. Ah, well. Kanon stretched. It looked as though he was about to head out somewhere.
Kanon-san.
I'm heading out to Chili's. Would you like anything? That's where winners get to go to Denny's and losers go to Chili's. Seeing as you're a fellow loser, I suppose you should come with me, huh? All right, I'll go for you. I'll go to the guest room in the mansion and let Battler Sama out and set the chain behind me and hide in the closet in his place. Is that enough?
I'm glad for the sentiment. However, even if you wanted to leave the cousin room because of Erika-san's seals...
Unlike the next room over, the cousin room containing Kanon was a guaranteed complete closed room, even counting the windows. Not only did he have no way to save Battler, he couldn't even escape himself. In that case, use your magic to give me power.
My magic?
Yeah, use your magic on me.
Pour some magic on me.
No, what? That's strange. Why would, it's not a liquid. You can't pour it. Can you? Wait, how do you do magic?
Wait, I don't even know how.
Aren't you Beatrice, the Golden Witch?
I am a witch, but, I don't even know about closed room tricks, much less magic.
Okay. Listen up, Beatrice. I'll only tell you this once. This is what a witch is.
What a witch is?
A witch is not the one who solves puzzles.
Not the one who solves puzzles?
Yeah, that's right. If you're a witch, why are you clutching at your head because of someone else's puzzles? That's not a witch's job, right?
Then what is a witch's job?
The Golden Witch I know would have used insane magic to create a puzzle that no one could understand, confusing everyone and sneering, creating a horrible riddle that no one can get, spin everyone around and badmouth them. You aren't supposed to clutch at your head worrying about your opponent's puzzles. That's your opponent's job.
Worrying is my opponent's job?
Don't worry about how Ushurmia Battler got out of the closed room. A chain-locked closed room? How trivial. You need to create a much more spectacular ultimate closed room. And make it so that they're the ones worrying. I'll even lend a hand.
I'm not the one who worries.
That is for them to do. It is about time that they learned the true terror of the Golden Witch Beatrice. The one who can create endless closed room tricks of the most horrific kind. Tricks that can make even the demons of hell prostrate themselves in shock.
Closed room, even more horrific than Battler-san's.
We've already gotten our hands on one, haven't we?
A horrific closed room? Ah.
On the back of Beato's mind, images she remembered began to flit by one after another. The mansion, the guest house, the rose garden. Trick, mistake, lure, taunt, trap, laugh together.
Is this the witch live, laugh,
Do
love?
you know about this trick? Yeah, it is.
I need this on a fucking Hobby Lobby sign for
There
our
you go.
kitchen.
Do you know about this trick? I think I've seen something like it in a book before. Beato's eyes opened wider and wider. Countless lights circled around her, swallowing her up. Oh, and one more thing.
What?
That's no way for the Witch of Closed Rooms to talk.
So, after all, I must be... me.
The marriage ceremony ended without any problems, and the reception was held inside the cathedral. As the goat demons partied raucously, Gelanor could be seen leaning against a pillar trying to escape from the noise. I do not do well with crowds. I just feel like I do not know how to make small talk.
Have you considered waving the sword at them?
I have. They do not find it enjoyable. Then Gertrude appeared and whispered some kind of report to her. Is that true?
Allow me to speak. Aide Cornelia is currently heading towards the scene. I suggest that Lady Erika be contacted as well.
Understood. I will tell her. Gertrude, contract the head of ceremony. Security. Prepare for battle.
As you wish. I apologize for interrupting your chat. I am in charge of security for the ceremony. Huh? Is it me? Do you want something?
I told you you were going too far. Champagne Tower bowling was always a bad idea. Looks like it's time for a scolding. Saved a world.
Champagne tower bowling. Lambda just bowling over a gigantic tower of wine glasses, shattering it everywhere.
It's literally fine. It's magic, right?
Everyone's slipping over it. There's blood and mutilated goat guests all over the floor in a pile of champagne and misery and lost dreams. Hey, Burn! Hey, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? The reception desk has received an envelope from an unknown sender addressed to Lady Lambda Delta. I always ignore anonymous calls and letters. Just throw it away. But please look at this. What's that? Did you tell anyone you received this? No, only the 2 sisters at the reception desk and I know. They have already been ordered to keep silent.
The instant she saw that envelope, Lambda Delta snatched it away and lowered her voice. Berncastle had walked away and was apparently making fun of Erica.
Why are we making fun of me?
Bern and, of course, Erica were both drunk. If they were left alone, they'd probably forget about this. It's true that this envelope has no sender written on it. However, the seal done on it in gold leaf fulfills the same purpose. This seal is... Lambda Delta hid behind a pillar, ripped the envelope open, took out its contents, and read them. Her eyes instantly started to glint, and she smiled like a kid who's just thought of a nasty trick.
What is to be done? The sniper team is carrying red warheads. If you give your permission, I will give the order to load them. What are you talking about? Do you realize how important these guests are? If a stray bullet hits one of these attendants, all the new Chester sisters will be sent straight from the factory to the guillotine for the next 10 years. Understood. We will intercept with regular warheads. Shall we post watches around the 7 Sisters of Purgatory? Why would we need those? After all, the 7 stakes are battlers, and now Erica's furniture. Why would we post watches around our allies? Just make sure security is nice and tight. And just now, we received a recommendation from Assistant Inquisitor Gertrude suggesting that we make preparations for battle. Her reasons are unknown. From Gertrude? Then follow that recommendation. A party's more fun once you liven things up. Understood. 00, calling Chester 17, Chester 38, Chester 45. Code R, be on your guards.
What the fuck is Code R?
Code R is probably a code being given.
Oh, Code Red, right.
Yeah. Transmitting level 2 alert. 17, copy.
38, copy.
45, understood. Wait, 45 isn't the one that goes, yeah.
45 is the one that's all worried all the time.
It'd have been so much cooler if you'd said copy too. Yeah. I just got nervous. Right. 45. Come over here a second. What is it? Hey, we're on the job. Stop. Don't play with my ears.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Your ears. Better fold them down, yeah.
What did you say? You're kidding, right? That's impossible.
Cornelia is heading there now. The odds of Beatrice attacking here are extremely
high.
I recommend suspending the reception and
evacuating.
What's going on? Erica, something go wrong with the entertainment.
Ow!
Motherfucker!
No, my master. Please continue to enjoy the reception. Hey, somebody. Let's get Lady Berncastle some more dried plum wine.
Erica didn't have much time to hide her agitation. When Berncastle saw this, she knew that their final, late guest had finally arrived. Lucine, I hear there's been some movement in the guest house. The guest house? Who cares about the game board now? Well, they're saying that Kanon disappeared from the cousin room. What? Are you a moron? The cousin room is a perfect closed room with the door and all the windows perfectly sealed. It's impossible for him to escape. No, I've been snooping about as well. There's no mistake. Kanon disappeared from the cousin room. He's probably hiding somewhere in the cousin room. Or else he's managed to trick everyone since the beginning and was never in that room to begin with.
Haha.
It's impossible. He's been guaranteed that everyone is in the cousin room except the specific names Lady Erica read aloud back then. It's impossible for him to trick his way out of this one. Then how did he get past the Jungfrau's seal barrier? Now, first off, where on earth is Kanon? Find him at once. At that moment, the cathedral suddenly went black. The surprised commotion of the guests filled the cathedral.
She's here. 00 calling all Chesters. Code R alert. Chester 17, can you repair the electrical systems? Negative. Communications with the management staff have been severed. All Chesters, code red. Rock and roll. Copy.
Copy.
Copy. Understood. Copy.
The sniper teams and the chandeliers all released their safeties at once. The entire security team down in the hall loaded their ammunition. Lady Erica, let us evacuate to the waiting room. Also, I did find my glasses that you knocked off my
Face
They are undamaged. It is dangerous.
here.
What's dangerous? I'm the territory lord of this world. Why should I have to run away in fear?
Gertrude, set up a VIP guard.
Barrier.
Call Cornelia back here at
Once.
Yes, executing.
A barrier? I need to be wrapped in one of your pitiful, pathetic barriers while I'm wearing a wedding dress? How insulting!
This disturbance made even Battler groan as he sat in the next seat over like a doll. Ugh. Even with his soul sealed, Battler probably realized that something strange was going on. She's late. Right, Lambda?
Totally. She sure kept us waiting.
What was that just now? A love letter from someone?
A fan letter from the Lambda-chan fan club.
Lambda Delta played dumb and munched some popcorn, and then the lights finally turned on. It was clear that during that blackout, Beatrice had snuck in somewhere nearby, possibly even inside the cathedral itself. The whispering demon attendants all realized it as well. Whose scheme was this, and what were they doing? Though it may have been imprudent, they were looking forward to this, and an excited chatter filled the cathedral.
Looks like she came.
The Gap. They let you come back too.
Come on, putting me in jail is pointless.
That is true.
But Richa, Battler's closed room, the cousin room, and even the final possibility of the next room over have all been sealed. How are you planning to save Battler now?
Let us suppose that Milady has found some trick X. If so, she would inevitably have to march in here to thrust that in Lady Erica's face.
But against all of these Chester troops? I can't believe that many of them were hiding here. It's impossible. She'll be sewn to death.
Rabbit ears dashed all about the hall. Incredible that she could remain hidden and unnoticed with so many people around.
If she can just get close enough to challenge Erica, she should be able to get herself an even fight.
I see. That move. However, does Milady have that item with her? She always complains and dislikes it when I prepare them for her. My. She's a troublesome one to the end. Amid the crowd, Ronove took something out and showed it. When Virgilia saw, she understood what that in his hand meant. True, with that, it should be possible to stop the attacks from the Chester troops.
Well, if it doesn't work on Erica, then we're through. The problem is getting her right in front of Erica, if only for a second. The Chesters will probably prevent that with all they have. Leah, do you think you can gain her that time?
Virgilia gave a small nod.
Since we have the power of that.
Yeah, of course, the power of that on our side. Nothing can stop us.
However, the problem was that the two Chester troops standing at her back. Since the time she tried to jump out in front of the procession, she had been marked constantly. It was possible with Virgilia's vast magical power to momentarily take out all the Chester troops in the cathedral. That would only gain a short bit of time, but it would be enough to confront Erica. The Chester troops knew this, so they kept a close eye on Virgilia with tense faces. At that moment, the great cathedral door was blasted to bits. The fragments became bright gold butterflies, which danced across the room in a beautiful blizzard of golden leaf. That golden storm slowly faded away. And then, at the entrance to that red carpeted path to the grave, a calm, majestic figure was.
Guards, shoot to... Oh, that's probably...
Guards, shoot to kill!
No, that's gonna be,
Yeah.
shit. No, that's, Lanor. Guards, shoot to...
Kill.
Negative. Conducting identity comparison.
Lanor ordered the guards to shoot the intruder right away, but Chester 00 did not respond. Was it because she had been warned about shooting the guests and was afraid of the consequences of possibly shooting a drunk guest pulling some sort of prank? No. 00 was just coolly and calmly carrying out her duties.
What a surprise. And I thought you weren't going to make it.
The pair faced each other from either end of the long red carpet. However, in between them stood several dozen Chester honor guards.
Took you quite some time to come here, most honored guest. You had us all quite worried, but I'm glad you managed to make it to the reception at least.
Beato laughed. That chuckle made Battler's eyes quiver slightly.
You...
Give us one of those good head tilt faces. Not the big one, the big one. There it is!
Did I keep you waiting, Fruto Erica? I'm here to celebrate.
She had an overpowering and evil presence about her, strong enough to make anyone shiver. Was there really any need to confirm her identity now? Who else could possess such an overwhelming presence?
Beatrice!
Let us meet again in hell is a favorite parting line of mine, but... Identity confirmed. It is the great Lady Beatrice. This time, it really did happen. Fruto Erica.
At that moment, the two Chester troops standing behind Virgilia slumped over and fell to the floor. Ronove had touched the bases of their big ears from behind. It was clear that he had applied some sort of magic. Someone find a doctor, but not for me.
Yeah.
These girls appear to be ill.
All Chesters, open fire! Beato, now!
Just an instant before the Chester troops could fire, Virgilia raised her arms to the heavens. Her magical power, which was more than enough to remind all present what her name had meant at the height of her strength, became a spirit wave that exploded throughout the cathedral. Its shockwave made the stained glass windows shatter and colorful glass shards poured down everywhere.
Spirit particle warfare defenses, hurry on reboot.
However, all of the Chester honor guards who didn't have spirit particle defenses toppled over like dolls. The ceiling snipers were defended and able to avoid a crash, but it would take several minutes before the system could be rebooted. That span of time should be enough to reach Erica. However, it wouldn't be possible to defeat Erica in just a few minutes. There was no way they'd be able to carry Battler away in that time. What else could they use this precious time for? Beato dashed down the red carpeted path. She ran down the path to the grave, which was lined by Chester troops lying there like corpses. She had called this place hell. In that case, running from hell to the grave was actually going backwards. Beato's figure dashing through the corpse-ridden path truly symbolized her resurrection. Milady, take this.
Got it.
As she dashed, she snatched something white from Ronove's outstretched hand. There was no longer anyone blocking her path to Erica. However, at that instant, a golden thread came from in front of her and rapidly sewed through the red carpet towards her like a sewing machine.
Oh, we have a meddler. Reloading complete. Requesting data, yeah. Firing radar targeted. Data link to 420.
420 was clever. She had predicted that Virgilia would go for a spirit particle attack and had folded her ears in 45s over beforehand. So they were the only ones who weren't taken out.
Firing.
Once again, the golden sewing thread chased after Beato, weaving like a sewing machine. It was as though an undulating golden snake was shooting after her.
Impudence. You mean to delay my precious showdown with Erica?
Beato jumped sideways away from the red carpet, then dashed across the long table covered with beautiful food. The gold snake chased her, sewing through the pure white tablecloth like a sewing machine and scattering dishes left and right. The goat attendants ran about wildly, trying to escape. The cathedral was wrapped in pandemonium.
I can't believe some of those rabbits evaded the spirit particle attack.
This is bad. If they take up that position, there's nothing we can do. The pair of snipers attacking from the chandelier high above were much further away than Erika was, too far for Beato to reach. Furthermore, their position landed the entire cathedral inside their range of fire.
Too bad, yeah, Beatrice-sama. The trials of love are harsh, yeah. 45, new magazine.
Nothing personnel, kid. You mean this?
The Gap handed her the magazine. 45 always handed them over backwards, so 420 was a bit confused to have one handed to her the right way up. Huh?
Yeah, let go, yeah.
No matter how distant a position they might take, it was no problem for the elusive The Gap. The Gap twisted their long ears up and then tickled them with her thumbs. The Chester's greatest weapon was also their greatest weakness. The two doubled over with laughter.
I've got these two, but how many seconds do we have left? The other Chesters will be reactivating.
On the other chandeliers, even more powerful Chesters were slowly starting to move again. It would be impossible to buy them any more time.
Aha, the Gap. Thanks, I'm in your debt.
Don't forget to thank these guys, too.
Beato, good luck. Hang in there.
You don't have much time.
Erika!
Beato cut through the crowd of scampering goats like Moses. Her goal was straight in front of her, the place where Erika and Battler were seated. Then a red barrier took form, blocking her path. It was the VIP guarding barrier that Gertrude had set up. She stepped forward and laid out a last line of defense to block Beato's path.
Let it be known that you will get no closer. You think a wall like that can stop me?
How long until the Chesters
Reactivate.
Oh, within 30 seconds.
As the oldest of the seven sisters of Purgatory, Lucifer stood in waiting behind the bride and groom. She wanted to save Beato. If she could just distract Gertrude for a moment, the wall would disappear. However, the seven sisters were furniture. They served the territory lord, so they couldn't move to help Beato. Delanor glanced over at Lucifer. There was a coercive tint to her eyes. You are not allowed to move except by the orders of your
Master.
Who's our master? It's Erika now, idiot. No, a master is Battler-sama. True, only Erika speaks on his behalf. That's right, Oni-sama. Whose furniture are we? It's just too delicious. Let's dig in.
The red absolute barrier flickered for just an instant. Beelzebub's stake had pierced Gertrude's shoulder, and her concentration had wavered. But it didn't break. Slowly and expressionlessly, Gertrude turned to look at Lucifer.
By whose orders? Know that Lady Erika has made no such order.
We do have orders. The orders of our master.
How can a master who cannot speak give orders?
Even though we can't talk, understanding your master's will is a furniture's job.
Then it cannot be helped.
The 7-6 shot at Gertrude at once. Gertrude had chosen to take all of those direct attacks, refusing to abandon the barrier until the last moment. Though she was resilient enough to be called a literal Iron Maiden and received no damage at all, it was more than enough to make her flinch and lose control of the barrier.
Good work, my furniture.
Beato shot through the scattered red fragments of the barrier, and she was finally right in front of the bride, her rival, Erika. However, there stood the final shield protecting Erika. Death Sentence Delanor. You are too
Late.
Time is already up, Lady Beatrice.
Chester 17, data link to all Chesters. Incoming data from Archangel Satellite. Homing format, verdict model, conceptual guidance. Chester 20, reactivation complete. Chester 127, reactivation complete. Time's up, yeah. No, not there. No.
Reacha, good luck.
So
Delanor!
Back off, Delanor A. Knox. This isn't your fight.
I have received a red truth denying you from Lady Burncastle. I am afraid that this will become your
Grave.
I don't know what Burncastle has allowed her to say. However, I don't need to sit around and let that longsword tell me. I'll play with you all you want later, but for now, back off. There's no time. The Chesters have already finished reactivating. I'm only living on a bit of borrowed time.
You will be the one to
Retreat.
You are the last pitiable actor who has chosen the wrong time to make an
Appearance.
Lanor's red longsword cut a large arc of absolute denial which headed straight for the crown of Beato's head. However, in that instant, there was a thunk, and the curve missed slightly. Beato didn't let this good fortune go to waste. She slipped past the longsword, knocked Lanor aside, and finally stood right in front of Erica. No, not my
Glasses again.
This time, not a single person stood in her way. This is...
Popcorn
Where did this popcorn come from?
from.
Urgent request from the bride's bodyguard team. Let the Chester Sisters Imperial Guards fire at the intruder immediately.
The commotion quieted. However, no one shot. Why? They could have shot if they'd wanted to. All of the Chester troops had completely targeted her and removed their safeties. Of course, all of them had finished reactivating. However, they hesitated to pull the trigger.
Why aren't they shooting? Let the ceremony guards immediately.
Wait.
Look at...
That.
Delanor's expression grew grim. Then she quietly put her red longsword away. After all, Erica would have to make a decision. If she decided to ignore it, they could shoot to kill. However, if Erica picked that up, they must not do so. So they couldn't pull the triggers until Erica decided. Why won't anyone shoot?
Look closely. See what Beato just threw at Erica?
Lambda Delta pointed, still chomping down popcorn. It was hard to see from the balcony. Beato had thrown something like a white handkerchief at Erica. It had fallen to Erica's feet. Was that white thing?
She really knows what she's doing, that girl. She knows what it means to be the main character.
How interesting.
The thing that had hit Erica in the face and fallen to the floor was a white glove that Beato had gotten from Ronove. Hitting someone with a glove like that could only mean one thing. It was...
Ooh, Zepar, what's this? What does it mean? This is a request for a duel. If she picks up the glove, it means she's accepted. And if she doesn't, the Chesters will shoot. Why would she pick it up? She doesn't have to. However, we in the demon attendants would probably spread the word far and wide that she dishonorably ran away from a duel.
She would be known for eternity as a coward who ran away from a duel of love. Beatrice waited firmly and composedly. If Erica just kicked it away, then at that very instant, the Chesters would probably all fire at once, turning her into golden embroidery. So Erica didn't have to pick it up. However, she could not afford to be afraid of picking it up. After all, she was the true victor who had defeated Battler's closed room trick and logic. If she was the victor, she should have nothing to fear. So if she was afraid of doing it, it would prove that she felt a tinge of doubt about her victory.
If I don't pick that up, I can kill you without getting these clothes dirty.
That would probably liven up your reception. However, you will pick it up.
Oh? And why is that?
I've brought a wonderful gift, just perfect for you. You want to know what that is. Therefore, you'll pick it up.
Not interested. Goodbye.
You'll pick it up. I know that you want to hear about the closed room I've brought you, which, unlike that trivial guest room of battlers, is simple, basic, and absolutely cannot be solved.
A closed room that absolutely cannot be solved.
I know you want to accept my challenge. After all, you are the detective.
Erica threw off her wedding dress as though it were a cape.
Yeah, I was double dressing it. What of it?
It'd be way funnier if the shtick where she's climbing all over the outside of the building in the swimsuit.
Yep.
If she still had the swimsuit on under there. It's just a swimsuit and like 50 packs of chopsticks.
You never know what you need them for.
Yes, before she is a bride or a piece or a witch, she is one thing first and foremost.
I am the detective. I acknowledge you as my opponent. However, are you qualified to participate in this game? Have you managed to fix the logic error?
If you pick that glove up, I will prove that I have fixed it in my fight against you.
Good.
Ooh. The cathedral was filled with chatter. Erica had picked up the glove. A duel! A duel! The cathedral was wrapped in a bizarre excitement. At Erica's nod, Delanar pushed the crowd away, leaving the pair alone. People were permitted to witness this duel. However, no one would be allowed to interfere in any way. Ugh.
It's okay, Battler-san. I've already found a way to save you.
Oh.
I'm going to save you now. Please hang in there just a little longer.
Beato's resolute expression returned, and she grinned boldly, looking down on Erica. There can be no doubt that is the expression worn only by the Golden Witch, the presence of the master of closed rooms. A shadow dashed through the stormy rose garden. It was incredibly light and swift. The raindrops never touched him, and he made no splashes in the countless puddles. His feet left no tracks in the mud. That rushing figure was Kanon. Then he ran up the stairs to the entrance of the mansion. He did not slow down in the slightest to open the door. He ran straight through it as though trying to break through and leapt into it. The door was shut. Even that couldn't stop Kanon. He slipped through the door, fell into the entranceway, and slowly stood up. His body wasn't even wet. And as he recalled from those nostalgic days spent serving the Ushiromiya family, which would never come again, he ran once more. He was heading for Battler's guest room. He ran past the servant room, through the entrance hall, and past the door to the parlor. Then the doors to the kitchen and the dining hall came into sight. All of it brings back fond memories. There was the honor and the rigidity of serving Kinzo directly. However, that man wasn't rigid all the time. When the family was out of sight and he didn't have to preserve that air of majesty, his face could turn unbelievably childish, and he would sometimes ask me to take part in strange pranks. Oh, this is... The master let me shoot lots of guns, didn't he? That was pretty fun. Kraus-sama was actually surprisingly kind. Must have gotten the impression that the master bullied me a lot. Whenever I was the only one around, he would talk to me in a very familiar way, almost as though he was a classmate of mine. I sort of regret that I held back and never did anything but nod in return. Madam was really a strict person, but ever since some rumor went around saying that she was strict on female servants, but soft towards the male servants, I had the feeling she viewed me as the enemy. However, she was also a woman to be pitied. When I've seen her alone, I've noticed the shoulders that sag with pain many times. There were a lot of servants, weren't there? Some lasted a short while others stayed a long time. Genshi-sama was the one person I might have called my father. I'm both grateful and resentful towards him for many things. They all mixed together, cancel out, and I end up clicking the button too quickly. I end up with a neutral emotion. In that case, Kumasawa-san could probably be called my mother. She helped me out many times. I always wanted to repay her someday. And now I've lost that chance for all time. Shannon is my Nei-san. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to be me. Thank you for teaching me that the ocean is blue. Yoda? I hate that guy. Still, when I complimented his stew, he would sometimes turn red and say there was enough for seconds. I I didn't dislike that part of him. I wonder why such a strong memory popped up at the instant I ran past the dining hall. And then my memories of Jessica. Oh.
Oh, it's a boy servant. How old are you?
I think those were the first words she spoke to me. When you think about it, she was probably interested in me ever since then. I really did have enough time to build up a love that wouldn't lose to George Sharma's and Shannon's. But since I could only see the grey sea, I wasted almost all of that time. What does she like about me? What do I like about her? I have the feeling we never really made that clear. No, she told me. We should have stayed together longer to eventually find that out. It would have been fine to find reasons for our love later. It took me far too long to realize that. Now I think I can accept it. I know why Shannon won the duel. God must have been watching. You had so much more courage than I did, and God didn't abandon you. I reached the hallway with the guest rooms. There was someone lying on the ground. It was Battler. He was lying just outside the guest room, a chain tied to his neck. He probably struggled to do something with the chain lock from the outside until he lost consciousness. His fingernails on both hands had been torn off, and they were stained with blood. I could tell at a glance just how hard he had tried until the final moment, when his heart had died. The collar binding him wouldn't disappear unless the chain lock was set. I lost someone. It's all right now. I'm going to save you now. Battler responded faintly. He probably hadn't even imagined that help would come to this eternal closed room. He was so scared that this might be an auditory hallucination brought about by a fleeting delusion that he couldn't bear to open his eyes easily. Kanon grabbed Battler by the arms and dragged him back into the room. The inside of the room was terrible. The windows had been brutally shattered. The wind and rain had made its way inside. All kinds of tools and furniture lay broken there. However, Battler hadn't smashed them out of rage. The curtain had been removed, torn, twisted up into a bundle. Probably used trial and error to see if that could be used as a rope for some trick. Tried using every single thing in the room, exploring all possible options for escape. The traces could be seen throughout the room and even in the bathroom. The empty bathtub was stained with just a bit of blood, and the nippers lay there on the bottom. To protect this tale, he had nearly been prepared to accept Berncastle's brutal method of escape, cutting himself into pieces and washing himself down the drain. He was even willing to tear apart his own body to protect the game that Beato had entrusted him with. He had probably questioned himself over and over in this bathtub, wondering if there was any other way out. By the clock at this game world, not even a single day had passed. However, just in how many years has it been in the closed room of the logic era? When faced with an endless span of time, any way of ending it, no matter how cruel, is tempting. However, he had rejected that until the very end. And, even in the last moment when his heart died, he had wanted so much to show his iron will to the escape from this closed room that he had chosen to fall here in the corridor, with the chain still around his neck. Battler-sama, it's Kanon. Please, come to your senses. He wiped Battler's face with a towel wetted in the sink. In response to that cold sensation, Battler's heart began slowly beating again. Ugh. It's you, Kanon-kun. Yes, it is me, Kanon. You did well to endure until today. Ugh. Looks like I slipped in just a little too much. Huh? Battler realized that the feel of the towel on his neck meant that the cursed collar and chain were gone. There's no longer anything binding you here. Come on, please, head back quickly. But if I unset the chain lock, that chain will come back. Don't worry. No longer does any chain exist to bind you, Battler-sama. I will remain here. What? What did you say? By now, Battler knew the terror of this endless closed room better than anyone else. So he was more filled with shock than happiness. Shock at the determination of the one who was willing to become the new prisoner. I will be fine. There's no need to worry. But... Battler-sama, is there still something you have to do? Go back, quickly. There's someone fighting in your place, and there's someone awaiting your return. Will you not go back? His stern words and gaze shot straight through Battler. Are you sure? Yes. That will be fine. This way I can repay my debt from back then. Debt? Do you owe me something? You aren't the one I owe, Battler-sama. It's okay, so go. I don't like being indebted to others. Go, quickly. You must not keep her waiting now. So hurry. Battler couldn't argue back anymore. He silently bowed his head, unset the chain, and opened the door. Kanon had remained in the room, so no chain appeared about Battler's neck. He could leave this closed room just by running out. The happy-sounding voices that he had heard at the far end of the corridor had been replaced with an excited chatter. There must have been some sort of strange disturbance going on. As Kanon went out into the corridor to see me off. The merciless collar and chain had already captured their new prisoner. He would remain inside in this endless closed room in Battler's place. Wait, what? How? What? Just one line? Of first person? Okay.
Yeah.
He would remain inside this endless closed room in Battler's place. Kanon-kun, I feel the same. About what? I don't like keeping debts. I will definitely repay you, and I will do it soon. I hope I can count on that. Go on, run. Run to the one you love, and please never get lost again. Battler didn't turn back again. He ran with everything he had. He ran out into the corridor, whose warmth he had cursed so many times. That cursed chain no longer bound him. He ran to the very end of the corridor, beyond the light. Kanon, still connected to the chain, watched him go, and then quietly returned to the guest room. Now he only had to worry about his own job. Stay in this room and fix the error in logic. Now, I've set the chain lock. As soon as he said it, the chain disappeared from his neck. Then if he hit him with the one place Erica hadn't checked, the broken logic would be fixed. The closet door opened slowly. It was well oiled and opened without a sound. It was cramped inside and dark. This tiny space is the last place I'll see. As long as I remain hidden in here, the logic will be preserved. It's an easy job, easier than caring for the roses. Kanon went in it and closed the double doors from the inside. As soon as he did, a single small gold butterfly appeared, melted into the darkness of the closet, and vanished. It was a sign that the logic had been fixed. The witch's game had already stopped and the clock of the world pieces would never tick again, so for all of eternity no one would come to save him from this place. That's okay. This way I've paid back my debt. Beatrice. The power of the gold butterfly brooch... Oh. Fucking hell. The power of the gold butterfly brooch taught me about love. In the third game, it gave me some quiet time alone with Jessica. I get the feeling it did many other small things for me. At any rate, I've paid back all of my debts now. And now all of my debts are... That musical tape Jessica lent me. I never gave it back to her, did I? That's okay, isn't it, Jessica? I liked that one. Can I accept that as a present? You want me to dub over it and hand it back? Slowly, Kanon's body began to melt into a cloud of gold butterflies. And after the inside of the cramped, dark closet glittered like a golden planetarium. It faded away like the light of fireflies, was painted over by a pitch blackness. For all eternity. In the cathedral, the Goat attendants were all jostling around either side of the red carpet. On the red carpet, standing across from each other, were Beato and Erica. In their hands were the pistols given to them by Zepar and Furfur.
Flintlocks, are they? How old-fashioned.
pay it no mind. Demons are very particular about style.
Its form was similar to an actual old-fashioned gun, but this was, of course, a demon's gun. This wasn't a gun that would propel a lead bullet with an explosion caused by gunpowder, like the pistols used in the duel between Shannon and Kanon, whose bullets had contained a magic that would always kill. These pistols also had bullets that were not made of lead.
Beato.
There's no need to worry. She'll win easily. And you'll have to deal with her insults again, Leah.
When this match is over, we should ask to be paid every now and then. After the fight ends, perhaps the occasional trip down the Caribbean would be satisfactory.
Enough talk about when the fight is over. That's an ill omen before a duel. Beato, take this seriously. This is no time to be standing around laughing.
Why is Richa relaxed and Leah tense? Come on.
Beatrice-sama,
you can do it.
it.
Beatrice-sama's at a disadvantage in this duel, though. Why? Normally, witches are able to use strength and numbers to achieve victory. However, since the game has been suspended, she has nothing on her side except the riddle Battler-sama's guest room. If Erica could just strike a blue wedge through that one riddle, it means she solved everything. They can win. I believe in Beatrice-sama and Battler-sama and our two masters. Sorry, are we starting the duel yet? It's just so fucking boring waiting around, you know what I mean?
Did you call me?
Thanks. For once, feels as though our chances of winning are actually 50-50. So I'd like to thank you beforehand.
It is simply my
Job.
There is no need to thank
Me.
In the last game, you protected me after I lost pathetically. I was happy. It was the first time in my life that anyone has ever protected me. Even my master has never done so. While she has given me as a way to cancel out my pain by exposing the truth of others. So everyone ends up hurting each other.
Please, forgive my
Arrogance.
I felt that I needed to protect you.
You.
When I realized what a frail truth you live by, when I saw you being tormented by the tyranny of a mixture of truth and lies that seemed more plausible, I wanted to protect
You.
Thank you. It wasn't for long, but you are a wonderful partner.
and will remain so.
So.
You're right. Once we defeated her, let's make tons of mysteries on this island together. I'll have you solve them and tease you as we play. How does that sound?
I like it.
Get.
I look forward to your
Challenge.
Sorry, that's a lie. I take it back. That'd be one of those loser flags, wouldn't it?
Now, are you ready,
duelists?
When the two demons clapped their hands, the duelists instantly returned to their bold, tense smiles.
The bullets within those magic guns are not lead. They are bullets of red and blue truth for the battle between mystery and fantasy. As long as you possess truth, your bullets are endless. However, being hit by a single one means instant death.
Are you both prepared?
Certainly.
Of course.
Lady Lambda
Delta,
Delta, O great and powerful witch of certainty and member of the glorious Senate,
please come forward. Will you swear to oversee this duel? Of course, I swear it.
The crowd split and Lambda walked forward with Burn Castle by her side. She looked between the faces of the two duelists, and then she took out an envelope with the seal of the one-winged eagle and lifted it high.
Beatrice has sent me her revisions to the tale inside a sealed envelope. After inspecting it, I find its contents to be valid. I proclaim that the logic error has been avoided. The chain lock is still set, and without any contradictions with any red truth made up to this point.
Chatter, 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 chatter. The many goat attendants knew the details of the battler's closed room. Meh, meh, meh. They realized how difficult it was, and though fiery debates had swept across the crowd during the reception, none had been able to find an answer. And now it was clear that Beatrice had already reached one.
Therefore, this duel is legitimate. It will center around one single point, the closed room of Battler's guest room. Battler disappeared from within a closed room sealed by a chain lock. Therefore, Erica has been armed with the blue truth. Beatrice has been armed with the red truth to counter back. The duel will continue until one side is victorious. Splendid.
Perfect.
Okay, well then, Beato, present your new revised tale and riddle to Erica. Kanon used magic to escape from the cousin room without breaking the seals. He reached the guest room and used magic to let Battler escape from that closed room.
What a foolish tale.
Very well. Erica, is there anything you wish to confirm?
Repeat it. The one who rescued Battler was, without a doubt, Kanon.
Very well. The one who rescued Battler was, without a doubt, Kanon.
Repeat it. Battler and Kanon are different people.
I'll say it. Battler and Kanon are different people.
That's enough.
Erica, are you done confirming things?
That was all I needed. I already decided how to fight.
Okay. Let both sides load their bullets.
Erica turned around, pressed her finger against the barrel of the pistol, made her blue truth into a bullet, and pushed it in. There was no rule saying that she had to turn away, but she didn't want her expression to be read. Or it might have been because she couldn't stand the tension of looking at Beato's bold smile. Beato had already finished loading her red truth. She waited for Erica to finish while calmly puffing on her pipe. Then she looked at Battler, who sat on the throne of the Territory Lord, right next to the two witches who were here as witness. Battler's consciousness was still hazy. However, he apparently understood that Beato had come to duel for his sake, so that he could be saved. It was all he could do just to look Beato with those sluggish eyes, but a flood of emotions passed between them. There was no need for words. A look was enough for them now. Erica closed her eyes tightly, her fingers still up against the barrel. At that moment, her stunning powers of concentration made all the distractions of the outside world disappear.
Good. It's always been like this, but my concentration really is good. Are you ready, me? Frudo Erica? First, let's lay out the situation. Battler disappeared from that closed room. The chain lock is set. Did he disappear by magic? Of course not. There has to be a trick. Kanon didn't save him with magic. He just came, took Battler's place, and set the chain. Everyone knows that much. The problem is the next step. No, it's actually the step before that one. Kanon was in the cousin room in the guest house. That room was completely sealed with packing tape. It's been proven that the seal was intact until the time of the logic error. In other words, Kanon escaped from a closed room that was absolute. With no chance for excuses by twisted logic. Good. This is why she called it a simple yet ultimate closed room. How did he escape from the perfect closed room known as the cousin room? I got stuck thinking only about that question. I'd be no better than your average kid detective. That room is a perfect closed room, so there's no way to escape. I know they're trying to think of ways to escape from there is a waste of time. The real question is how Kanon was somewhere outside the cousin room when it was sealed. The cousin room is a completely sealed can. If he was in there when it was sealed, then it's already game over. In other words, at the time the cousin room was sealed, he wasn't inside it anymore. Let's look at the time I checked everyone's locations and sealed the rooms. That's the most suspicious part. The time you have the 5 people in the next room over, whom I confirmed with my own eyes. Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nacho. I mentioned the names of those 5 people during the location check. I confirmed that they were in the next room over. And I checked to see whether everyone else was in the cousin room, and that had confirmed things for me as well. I said everyone else, so whether it was Kanon or Yoshi or even Pearl Pico Man, they all should have been sealed in the cousin room. It seems perfect at a glance. However, though the phrase everyone else seems perfect, it's fishy.
Sure was.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Glad we caught that instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Strictly speaking, everyone else refers to all humans with whose names I did not mention directly. In other words, there are exceptions. For example, to confirm that Hideyoshi and George were the next room over, humans with the name Hideyoshi or George don't need to be inside the cousin room. The Kanon told Jessica his real name was Yoshia, but that was no red truth. In other words, what if Kanon's real name is the same as those of one of those in the next room over? They seem to be at the same age, so let's use George. What if there were 2 Georges in that room? So violate the red truth saying that Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Najo were the next room over. Say the Kanon's real name was Tanaka George. Both Ushiromiya George and Tanaka George could exist in that room at the same time. In other words, there were 6 humans with 5 names.
Not quite, Erica.
5 humans with 6 names.
Yep.
So close.
So close, but so far, Erica.
It looked to my eyes
Insufficient love.
It looked to my eyes as though there were only 5 people in the next room over, but a 6th person, Kanon, was hiding somewhere. I don't have the detective's authority, so it wouldn't be that difficult for him to fool my eyes and hide. I see, the double name trick. Stupid. So stupid. Right, I've made my logic. Kanon, who was hiding in the next room over, not the cousin room, left by the window after the seals were placed. Bang. Ah. Ow. The gun had fired and the tip of my finger was stained with blood. The blue truth gunpowder had exploded. Damn it, I've already had Delano seal that one. Blue truth arguing about the window of the next room over is forbidden, so I can't use it.
Oh, an accidental discharge. Careful now, guns can be dangerous.
Shut up. It's just a little mistake.
The window of the next room over. You sealed it with some absurd trick, right? Gap told me.
Who? Literally who?
The Gap?
Oh, why didn't you just say so?
I'm a bit out of
Is
it.
that so? So what?
Delanor, remove that foolish seal. That seal has become your shackles.
Beatrice figured out everything I've been thinking. She's acting so confident, telling me to go ahead and use that argument.
Lady Erica.
Please, remove it. Fool, I'll make her regret this.
It seems you are ready, duelists. Please face each other with your pistols. Then fire with the sparks of truth. After facing away and readying herself one last time, Erica spun around. Beato had been facing her since the beginning. She wore a confident, challenging smile as if she'd been kept waiting. And without any signal, the two slowly raised their guns, pointing the red and blue glints that hid within their barrels at each other.
Come, I could do with a little fun. Begin!
First, how can I escape the cousin? I'll use that as my bullet.
Oh, so you'll start from there. Let's have it. Hold nothing back.
Here I go!
After holding the gun high and pointing it at Beato once more, Erica pulled the trigger with statements of red and blue truth.
The cousin room is guaranteed to be a perfect closed room until the end. So if Kanon really was in this room, it would be impossible for him to escape. In other words, Kanon was not in that room at the time it was sealed. The name Kanon is Elias. His real name is still unknown. If his real name has to be the same as anyone in the next room over, that wouldn't contradict the check on who was in that room. In other words, it's possible for him to be the next room over, not the cousin room.
The goat attendants shattered and clapped their hands, thinking, yes, such a move would work.
I love watching this. I love being surrounded by all this chatter. After all, I am the detective. It is true that the next room over was sealed, but at the time of the logic error, only the doors were checked to see whether the seals were preserved. Therefore, there's a chance the window seals were broken. Kanon was in the next room over and escaped through that window. That is all. Any other theory would be impossible. If this doesn't work, then there's no truth left.
As soon as she said that is all, the both of them fired at the same time. As the blast rang out, it was Erica's gun that fell to the floor. Beato's red bullet had knocked Erica's gun from her hands. Was it arrogance or confidence? If she had just aimed that bullet at Erica's heart, the whole thing would have been over. Beato had missed on purpose. There was a bold smile on her face. It was as though she was offering to play with Erica a little longer. No, that is exactly what made her Beato. Beatrice, the witch who mocks others with unsolvable closed room tricks.
At the time the next room over was sealed, Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo were in it. And the number of people in the next room over was 5. No one existed there except for those to whom those 5 names refer. All people can only go by their own names.
It was a thoroughly merciless red truth. It was simple and severe. Now that the number of people had been limited to 5, any leeway for Kanon hiding there had been completely denied. Also, it was now clear that only people holding those 5 names existed within the room. Erica couldn't even make a new theory by suggesting that one of the person held 2 names, that the 5 names referred to only 4 people, which would let an unnamed Kanon sneak in. You are so close.
So close.
So close. So close. Furthermore, the part about how people could only use their own names was a fatal blow that cut down countless theories.
Come to think of it, you've only ever met the half-sleeping me from the previous game, haven't you? What do you think, Erica? How do you like the game of the Golden Witch?
That's insane. Saying Kanon slipped out of that room by magic? More importantly, why did you just knock my gun away?
The human side must crush all of the witch's riddles, whereas the witch side need only crush the human's theories once. Don't you find that unfair? So, I decided to have it be even.
Even?
I've decided that I'll make my victory condition the destruction of all of your theories. I've won the riddle of Kanon's escape, but there's one more. Let's return to the first battleground where you gave battlers so much trouble.
When Beato snapped her fingers, that guest room of battlers was reconstructed. She went to fight once more in the room that had threatened to battle her with a logic error, determined to settle things once and for all.
Erica, pick up your gun. We'll have this room be your coffin.
I say the same to you. I will make you regret ever giving me this chance.
Witness, allow Erica to use X. X? You mean a basis that doesn't need to be explained? What are you gonna let her do? Let's give Erica permission to use Blue Truths for Kanon and this guest room trick, without making her explain how he escaped from his closed room.
A theory explaining how Kanon saved Battler would also need to explain how Kanon escaped from his own closed room, or it would have no basis. Erica had already lost that basis. Beato was giving her a handicap by saying that she didn't need to explain that part.
Of course, you've already used the red truth to guarantee that Kanon's a battler. It's only natural that I be given this privilege.
Erica faced away again and concentrated even harder. As though twisting the knob on her radio, she turned all noise and idle thoughts down to 0.
Let's go. Rudo Erica. Detective. Rudo Erica. As long as Kanon reaches this place, rescuing Battler isn't that hard. Trick is as follows. Kanon used some kind of escape trick X to reach the front of the guest room. While I was busy in the bathroom, I'm gonna click ahead too quick. Battler left the closet. Battler undid the chain lock. Battler went outside. Kanon entered in his place. Kanon set the chain lock. Kanon went into the closet. The fucking end. This satisfies the 2 red truths about the chain lock being set and Battler's absence. And in exchange for this escape trick, Kanon remains inside the guest room. There's no room for argument on how tightly this room can act as a closed room. It's cursed. This demonic closed room, one person must remain as a sacrifice for it to be acceptable. However, it's a simple theory, really enough. The rescuer switched places with him. The rescuer hid in the closet. No other sort of theory is possible. And yet Beato thinks she can win. In that case, does some other sort of trick exist? It's impossible. I swear on the history of the mystery genre that there's absolutely, definitely, categorically no other way. But if I came here, I could have called myself a detective. Consider it. Imagine. Don't stop thinking. That is how you drive blue wedges into witches. What can I expect to see is... yes, a wordplay trick. Can only be some kind of wordplay that just barely slipped through the net of words spoken in red. In that case, I'll crush all possibilities. All of them repeat line after line. This final duel has already begun, even though we haven't pulled our triggers yet. Repeat it. The time Battler was rescued, only Kanon entered the guest room.
I acknowledge it. At the time Battler was rescued, only Kanon entered the guest room. I believe that was the whole point.
Beat it. By the time I entered the room, at the time of the logic error, Battler, Kanon, and I were the only ones who had never exited the room.
I acknowledge it. From the time you entered the room to the time of the logic error, you, Battler, and Kanon were the only ones who went in or out of the guest room.
This is an oldie. We haven't heard this one in a very long time, have we? We haven't heard this one since, like, the question arcs.
I don't recall.
Beat it. This refers to 3 people.
I acknowledge it. It refers to 3 people, you, Battler, and Kanon.
Confirming definition. Can I assume that when you say 3 people, that's equal to the number of bodies? You're saying that 3 bodies went in or out of the room, right? Not enough of things being mixed about with names and numbers of people. I want this point to be clear.
Of course, 3 people, in other words, 3 bodies, went in or out. Only you and Kanon entered, and only Battler left. It has already been said in red that all people can only use their own names. Therefore, the names Erica, Battler, and Kanon can only be used by those people.
Beat it. I am not the rescuer.
Of course. You are the detective, are you not? Don't worry, I will respect that.
Okay, so Eric is not the rescuer.
Confirming definition. How do you define rescuer? This is also important. I want to quickly remove the possibility that I rescued him accidentally.
I'll define rescuer to mean any person who reset the chain lock after Battler unset it. This definition applies whether said person intended to rescue Battler or not.
She said after Battler unset the chain lock, it's impossible for this to have occurred before I set the foot in the room. From that point on, I wouldn't undo the chain again for all eternity. After all, the game was suspended at that point. Therefore, it was impossible for me to have been the rescuer accidentally. Or I can focus it even more. The chain can only be set from the inside. It's impossible for a person to escape on their own. Therefore, we know that Battler didn't escape by himself. And I'm not the rescuer. Only Kanon can be the rescuer. Beto's already said that Kanon is the rescuer with the red truth. There's nothing to doubt. There's no room for anyone but Kanon to be involved. At least so far. Repeat it. Going in or out refers to when someone crosses the boundary between the guest room and the area outside it.
I acknowledge it.
Repeat it. By the guest room, we're referring to the entirety of the bedroom, the bathroom, the closet.
I acknowledge it. I've no intention of wriggling out of this by saying the closet isn't part of the guest room.
Confirming definition. The inside of the guest room is divided into 3 sections: the bedroom, the bathroom, the closet.
I also recognize it as such. Furthermore, you have already confirmed with the red truth that 2 of those sections, the bedroom and bathroom, had no one hiding in them.
Repeat it. There was someone in the closet.
I refuse.
Why is that? Because Kanon is hiding there?
Kanon can use magic. It's true that he hid himself in the closet for a time, but he then immediately vanished with his magic. So, there's no one in the closet. I cannot respond.
I ask you to repeat it once more.
Fool. The witch side has no obligation to explain how they did things with magic.
No, it's completely obvious. There's no way she could say Kanon disappeared with magic using the red truth. If all magic doesn't exist. Is this enough? Not through every last minor detail, and yet some uncanny lack of dubious points. Can't think of any way around the theory I've had since the beginning. Kanon must be in the closet. He has to be. There's no way he isn't. I'll say it again. This closed room can only be escaped from by switching places with the rescuer. Kanon tries to escape as well, another rescuer would be needed. However, no rescuer exists for Kanon. Battler escaped, so it's impossible for it to be him. And I won't undo the chain for all eternity. People have gone in and out of the room and been confirmed by both name and number of people. This makes my theory is set in stone. First, here are the details of the situation that are certain. The game ended while I was inside of the guest room, so I did not undo the chain lock that I had previously set. It can't be that he escaped after I left the room. Furthermore, the chain lock was set at the same time I entered the room. No one could have left the room during the few seconds between the time I entered and the time I set the chain lock. The guest room was sealed at the time Battler's corpse was examined. So until I came in again and broke the seals, it was absolutely impossible for anyone to go in or out. Therefore, when I entered the room, I was certain that Battle was hiding somewhere in the guest room. The only chance Battle had to escape was after I broke the seals. To be even more specific, he had no chance to escape except for the time I was in the bathroom. By the above premises, Battler's trick to escape with the chain still said as follows. Because of the aforementioned reasons, the only one who could have set the chain on, which can only be set from the inside, allowed Battler to escape, is Cannon. The only person to enter the room except for me and Battler. After Cannon entered the room, he set the chain in the one place that he could hide inside the guest room, the closet. Huh? Well, that was close. Almost got me. They almost tricked me. Or him in the closet. It's the opposite. It made me think he's in the closet. It's the order in which I searched the guest room. First the bedroom. Confirmed that there was nothing there. Then the bathroom. Confirmed that there was nothing there. That's it right there. When I examined the bedroom, there was nothing there. However, while I was investigating the bathroom, Kiana slipped out of the closet. Hid again, somewhere in the bedroom. That was my guarantee that no one was in the bedroom. Just torn apart in the span of 1 minute. Spotted it. This is a witch's trap. An attempt to lure me into thinking that Kiana is in the closet. The place he's really hiding is in the bedroom.
Ask me how hard it is to do this voice for 40 minutes straight. Go ahead, ask me.
I found it. I finally found your trick. That was a close one. If I'd been one step slower, I'd have said there was nowhere to hide except inside the closet. And then she'd just say the closet was empty. It works the same way in reverse, though. I see. Now I get it.
Except, isn't she forgetting that they froze time immediately at that point anyway?
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, okay. I guess it doesn't matter, but...
Yeah.
I see. Now I get it. It's a logic switching trick. Damn that Beato. So in resolving the larger error, she's discovered this strange trick. Bailey knows the closet, she'll have Cannon hide under the bed. Bailey knows the bed, she'll have Cannon hide in the closet. Either neither one would be right, I lose no matter which one I chose. Unless I expose both at the same time, I can't checkmate her. Incredible. Never heard of such an unfair trick. If it was a sleight of hand, it'd just be a cheap one. If it was a mystery, it'd just be cheating. However, in this witch's game, it is a legitimate logic trick. In chess, it'd be called a double check. No, a discovered attack. Okay, would that be a discovered double check, mate? Either sort of logic would be foul trick in the mystery genre. In this world where witches and mystery war, it is such a refined board layout. The beautiful placement of the black pieces that corner my white king felt almost like an art. So beautiful that if I were a god in some old legend, I might wish to stick it in the sky as a constellation. That beauty even brought tears to my eyes. For the first time, I felt honored being allowed to participate in this game of truth and witches as a human. And ironically, it taught me, the one who had always believed in a single truth, that there isn't necessarily just one truth. If I just broaden my perspective, I can see completely different truths. And through each of those truths, are truth, they're incomplete if they're all that you can see. In my life up until now, just how many truths have I missed because I was blinded by some trivial truth? This is the nature of the world. Because of our arrogance in thinking that only one truth exists, whenever we find one truth, we get blinded to all others. Thank you, Beatrice-san. I never thought I'd learn the true nature of this world from a witch.
Slowly, with a soft and quiet gesture, like a flower opening with the morning dew dripping down its side. Erica raised her gun.
It's my victory. You've seen through your double check.
Then come.
Battler's guest room disappearance trick is as follows. While I searched the room, Battler was hiding in the closet. Then during the disturbance in the bathroom, he unset the chain and escaped from the room. At that time, Kanon was waiting for him in the hallway. Kanon entered the guest room in his place and set the chain. This is the trick to Battler's disappearance. And afterwards, he hid in the bedroom. This happened after I checked to see that there was no one unexpected in the bedroom, so it's valid. In this way, Kanon the rescuer concealed himself inside the bedroom.
Erica's blue bullet flew in a strange arc, became a wedge of blue truth, and pierced straight down through the bed and the floor beneath. Beato didn't pull her trigger. However, she did quietly argue back with the red truth.
Kanon does not exist in the bedroom.
Oh, the goat attendants gasped. Erica had apparently been defeated, denied by the red truth. For the goats who couldn't see more than a single truth, it probably looks as though... Oh.
For the goats who couldn't see more than a single truth, it probably looks as though I've lost. Next up is the real one. This is the answer from a human capable understanding of multiple truths. It looks like the tale of illusions will end on the second twilight. So why don't I carry out the remaining twilights and open the door to the golden land? If you were to disappear, then it should be surrounded by your golden roses.
The fires of blue truth flashed at Erica's feet, and she loaded a blue truth bullet once more. That overflowing blue power was now making her entire gun burn with a blue flame. He wasn't aiming for Beato. He was aiming behind Beato at the closet.
Now that the bedroom has been denied, you have nowhere left to run. Die, Kanon!
The 5 wedges of blue truth she released shot right past Beato's cheeks, hair, and shoulders, then pin-cushioned the door next to the closet to gouge whatever human was inside to death. The 5 wedges slammed into the door in a vertical line. In other words, on the 4th twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the 6th, on the 7th, on the 8th twilight, gouge and kill and kill and kill. Being gouged by so many thick and sharp wedges, the human inside wouldn't stand a chance.
Here's the truth I've exposed. That is all.
When she proclaimed that she had finished, the 5 blue wedges piercing the closet disappeared. However, the many large splintered holes left behind showed that it had indeed been pierced. Then, as though this completed the ceremony that led to the Golden Land, the room that had been created around them became countless golden flower petals and drifted away. By now, the duelists and the crowd of attendants were surrounded by the golden rose garden of the Golden Land. However, the closet behind Beato remained. It stood there all by itself, like a coffin. And then, as though teased open by a dreary wind, the hole-covered closet door slowly opened. Inside was a human figure. That figure was covered up to the head by what appeared to be a grayish robe. Of course, that also had large holes showing that it had been stabbed into. Eventually, it became clear that this was not a robe, but a raincoat. If he had rushed here from the guest house, then there would be nothing strange about him wearing this into the guest room. Then, with a rustle, the raincoat lost its human shape, crumpled, became a cloud of gold butterflies, disappeared.
What the
Inside the coffin of the closet, nothing remained except an empty darkness.
Kanon does not exist in the guest room. Of course, this includes all parts of the closet, the bedroom, and the bathroom. Kanon let Battler escape and hid in the closet. Then, he used magic to disappear. This is the witch's truth. That is all.
This fight is...
Over.
And the winner is Beatrice.
Oh, sorry, I didn't help you out there. Ooh, the attendants let out a cheer. I didn't see what Blondor had said at the end there.
Oh,
The attendants here let out a cheer. Virgilia's group couldn't help but scream and shout in joy. The seven sisters jumped about in celebration. Then at the same moment, the two demons proclaimed Beatrice's victory. The head's ring worn by Erica were slowly crumpling to the ground, and the cursed ring on Battler's finger both burst. At the same time, Battler coughed violently. Oh, hey everyone. I feel like I've been doing a terrible, shitty voice for the past 40 minutes. Battler was starting to regain consciousness.
Battler-san.
Beato latched onto the coughing Battler in joy. Then Virgilia, the Gap, and Ronove did the same. All of the seven sisters also crowded about him in delight. What a nasty trick. You sure something like this will count? With a trick like this, those humans will start complaining again about how this is no mystery.
No, it was a splendid trick. People without love cannot see it. Battler-san. Battler-san.
Lady Erica! Lady Erica! Someone, help her!
Quickly.
The rows of blood in Erica's chest wouldn't stop opening its petals.
Third-degree conceptual denial syndrome. Use of continuous neutralizer impossible. Neutralization only possible by an emergency approval for resurrection. The piece's master must provide approval for resurrection.
Lady Berncastle, give your approval for her...
Resurrection.
Lady Berncastle, where did she go?
Go.
Search request to ceremony guards. Find Lady Berncastle. Understood. All Chesters, data link, search format. How cowardly to think that someone's master wouldn't watch her pieces duel until the end. Know that it is far too cowardly.
Erica, who was being held by Delanor, had already realized that her master was nowhere to be seen, but she didn't feel lonely. On the contrary, she was relieved that she wouldn't need to be brutally scolded in the last moments of her life.
Gods and demons, please pass on the story of her noble passing.
Noble. The bad guy's supposed to die pathetically and make the main character look awesome. Not anyone's peace anymore. I can finally control my own role.
Lady Erica, you mustn't
Move.
Stand back. Stay back.
When Erica yelled with all of her soul, those who surrounded her were forced back and fell on their... I don't know.
I am the Witch of Truth. For widow Erica, the Witch of Truth is the witch who can withstand the truth. And now I can finally accept the real truth about myself.
Toxin of her own concept being denied raced through her. Her vision was already starting to blur. At the other end of her twisted range of vision were Battler and Beato, hugging each other and looking at her. Their expressions are firm.
That's okay. Pity and sympathy would only make me look more pathetic. For a loser, that sort of expression is the best.
Lady Erica, the duel is already
Over.
It isn't. Not until the pair is separated by death.
We won't let anyone disgrace her final moments. The two demons grabbed Delanor's shoulders and held her back. Dripping blood, breathing heavily and with an awkward gait, Erica walked towards Beato and Battler despite it all. The blood dripped from her became golden flower petals which drifted away. So as she walked, she looked both divine and beautiful. The duel wouldn't end until one of them died. So even though it had been settled, it hadn't ended. Beato and Battler told the people bunched around them to step back. They both walked forward to face the noble loser. Erica,
Congratulations. Oh,
congratulations on your resurrection. Looks like you've had bad luck with a woman. You'll never get a decent one to like you. Oh, wait, hold on.
Congratulations on your resurrection. Looks like you had bad luck with the women. You'll never get a decent one to like you.
True, I'd never fall in love with a decent woman.
Beato. I ask this of both of you.
You wish for one final clash?
Erica,
Very well. We are not so boorish as to refuse your noble request.
Thank you.
as her consciousness began to waver, Erica raised her gun again. She pointed at the two of them. Beato also raised her gun to point it at Erica, and then Battler placed his hand on hers.
If it's already resolved, what more could there be to argue about?
Erica-sama. Why? Is there nothing I can do? At a time like this?
Watch until the end. That's your job as her friend, isn't it?
Both sides silently loaded their bullets of truth without saying a word. The color packed into each barrel was red, so though neither side spoke, they both know what trump card the other would use.
At the end, I'd like to finally introduce myself.
What is she saying this late into the game? No one could imagine the red truth Erica had loaded. Beato, you sure?
Yes, I don't mind.
I understand.
Let's... Oh, is that...
No, that's Beato.
Let's at least pull the final trigger together.
I know. Battler placed his hand on top of the finger that Beato had around the trigger.
Battler-san, I'm glad I met you.
We will be together for all eternity.
That's a flirt right in front of me. Pissing you off. No, I really can't stand teary farewell scenes. Yeah, the Becky really does need to wear this face at the very end.
That's a nice look. Married life with you would probably have been fun enough to make me vomit.
Of course. Spinning around every day locked up in a world of pleasure that'd make you forget Beato-san in a second.
It's 1,000 years too early for you to capture Battler's heart, little girl.
You never look cuter than you do now. I guess both of us really do need to finish it this way.
Come.
This is Detective Furuto Erica's final parting line and self-introduction.
Erica spun in a magnificent and graceful rondo, scattering blood and golden flower petals around her as she raised her gun.
Hi. Pleased to meet you. I'm Furuto Erica, the detective. I may be an uninvited guest, but please welcome me. I'm the visitor, the 18th human on Rokkenjima.
Sorry, but
Even if you do join us, that makes
17 humans.
Boom!
got him.
Fucking called it. Fucking called it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, that's so good. There's a chance that we might not have our voice for the rest of for the last bit of the credits here, but I'll let the credits play out because we're about to hit the limit on our recording software. But hell yeah, hell fucking yeah. The 18th. Sorry, if you joined us on this island, there's still only be 17 people. Oh, and see to get out of that one, Beato had to reveal that crucial part about Shannon and Kanon.
Yep.
That would Erica cornered into a situation where she had to reveal that part. That's go to Toshiro. What a great game this is.
Absolutely.
We'll have more stuff to say and muse over probably when the
Tea party.
when the tea parties and stuff happen.
Oh yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Look forward to those on the next time an episode goes up. I don't know when this will be. Rip Erica voice, but I'm different as well. Yeah, and I'll just let the credits play out now, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Ciao, everyone.
Bye.
smash that like, comment and subscribe.